Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? David Fisher here, D-Fish, coming at you with another small business selling skill episode, session, whatever you want to call it. Thank you to everybody who's joining me live. And of course, thank you to everyone who is checking this out on our YouTube channel. If you have not checked out our channel, we have all of our recordings from all of our live streams, as well as episodes of DTV. I've actually had a YouTube channel for over a decade, so there's a ton of content there. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely do so. I will put the link down below. But today we are going to look at using stories to, as I said in the title, enable prospects to visualize success and visualize existing pain points that they have. And there's a lot of talk these days about the power of stories and storytelling. You can do a quick Google search and you can find a ton of books and articles and all that stuff out there, which is great. And there's a reason why it's really prominent right now, and it kind of has a lot of cachet, because communication between people really hinges on stories. Like, human beings are storytellers. I'm sure that you go back thousands and thousands and thousands of years, at the end of the day, it got dark, and there's nothing to do but sit around a campfire and talk to each other and tell stories. I mean, that's how we got mythologies and sagas and all that kind of great stuff from cultures around the world. So how do we actually use this when we're trying to influence and engage with people? I want to give you a very simple concept to think about as far as, say, because we've only got a few minutes. And that is, when you are telling a story to someone, what you are hoping to do is actually allow them to see the story in their own mind, to see what is happening, what could happen in the future through the stories that you tell. And I actually learned this really early on. In fact, I think I'm kind of blasé about storytelling because this is something that I've been doing for over 2 decades. I learned it as a very, very young salesperson, right when I got started out. I got my start selling cutlery, Cutco knives, very good stuff. Thank you to Cutco for all the lessons that it taught me. But one of the things that we did is, as we were going through a sales presentation talking about different knives and pieces of cutlery in the set, wouldn't just go, hey, here's this knife, it's good for cutting chicken. Or here's this knife, it's good if you want to dice some onions. Because there's no story there, right? There's nothing for a customer to see in their mind. And so what we would do is actually craft a story that would allow them to see them doing it. And it's as simple as giving some more detail and also putting them into the story. So, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, this is our chef knife. I'm gonna see if I can remember this. This is our chef knife. Really great for chopping, dicing, cutting onions, carrots, anything for soups and stews. Have you ever tried to cut through an onion and you're dicing it and you got a dull knife and you keep slicing it and it's not working great, and you can't get all the way through the skin, and because it's taking you longer, then you start crying and so it's just kind of a mess. You're kind of afraid. You're trying to get to the end chunks where you're trying to cut them and not cut your fingers, and you're crying. It's horrible, right? Hopefully, as I would tell that story, what's happening is that the customer is seeing that in their mind. They're seeing that vignette, that visualization of, hey, I remember that time I was cutting or I was watching somebody do that. It's actually why, if you think about it, look back at, I'm totally blanking here, television, late night commercials. There you go. Late night commercials for really weird products. Think about the way they film those. There's always these short little vignettes. One that pops in my mind is this strainer for pasta, which really isn't that complicated a task, but they had all these little vignettes of people using an old strainer and it spills out, or they burn themselves, or the steam comes out of them. And what that does is it's in this case in a visual format, but it's a story of, hey, do you remember when that happened to you? So that's what you want to do, is think about the stories that you're telling and ask yourself, am I supplying the visuals that people need to actually make it a relatable and visual story? Can they see that movie in their mind? Now, you might not be selling knives, right? But think about what situations your prospects are in that you could help them solve. You know, if it's about information, for example, you say, I mean, can you imagine just sitting there in front of your computer? You got 12 tabs open on your browser. You've got 2 spreadsheets, and you're clicking between the 2, and you're forgetting where information is and which spreadsheet you need. And so you're like, okay, you're looking at the browser. I've actually had customers do this where they get 2 screens to try to help them out, but then they just have 2 screens with 4 browser or 4 spreadsheets open in 6 browsers. It gets overwhelming. What our software package allows you to do is to avoid all of that and have a much more elegant and a much cleaner system, which saves you time. It saves you stress. You don't have to bounce around. And again, I'm just making this example up, but you see what I'm trying to do here. See, visual. We're trying to let them have the movie playing of that time that they got frustrated, or that fear that they have that they're going to get frustrated. And then again, when we talk about the visualization of the future success they could have, I love to use a third-party story here where we can talk about for example, an existing client we have or a past client. Hey, I can tell you about client XYZ. And what's nice is, once they were able to put our software package in place, things that took them a lot of, took them 2-3 hours, they could do in 15 minutes because they could actually have in front of them, my client said every time he would sit down at his desk to do this bookkeeping, he could pull up the one site, he'd have it in front of him, click, 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 easily bring all the information in that he needed to build his reports, and boom, he's done. Right. So even in this seemingly non-story example where, how could you sell software? And in this case, it eventually became an accounting software package. How could you sell with stories? Well, you step back and actually talk about the person using that platform. And this goes for everything from selling a software package or selling technology, selling financial services, selling insurance, selling, recruiting services, really selling anything. The trick is to go, how can I make this a story that somebody can see in their mind, a mini movie? And when you do that, it allows the person to really click with what you're communicating, right? And that's what we're trying to do. So that's how you can actually share specific stories that enable prospects to visualize the success and pain that is again, the pain you're solving and the success you're hoping to bring when they work with you. If you have any questions on how to use those stories, please hit me up afterwards. Feel free to reach out, message me here on LinkedIn, or shoot me an email at dfish@davidjpfisher.com. If you're looking to build these sales skills and bring in more clients in your business, I do suggest that you check out our Selling Launchpad group. This is a coaching community specifically for small businesses, for solo professionals, solo consultants, solo service providers, freelancers. Would love to have you in that group. It's a really great group of people. Come check it out, see what it's about for yourself. Happy, if you want to just check out a call and see what it's all about, just shoot me a message. I'm happy to have you come in as my guest. And also I wanted you to know that if you just want to get more information on how to build your sales skills and LinkedIn and networking skills, professional development, all kinds of stuff, one thing that we have also is a blog. So I've been writing for years. We have literally hundreds of articles on all sorts of business development, entrepreneurship, and professional development skills. So check those out at davidjpfisher.com/blog. Tons of great stuff. Be sure to get on our newsletter list because I send out one email every week. It's a great email. And that's all I got for you today. So thank you so much. I will be back on Monday at noon. So check us out. I'm taking the rest of this week off. But I'll be back on Monday at noon right here. That's all I got. Peace.